VIOFO A229, and the IROAD X11. I'm Ben from Safe Drive Solutions, your dashcam specialist, and today we're going to compare these two 2K 1440p resolution dash cameras and go over all the specs and compare these two. It's also going to follow with some comparison video that will show you how these two perform. Anyways, needless to say, let's go. Dashcam resolution. The VIOFO A229 uses a front and rear 2K 1440p 5 megapixel Sony Starvis IMX335 sensor. The IROAD X11 also uses a front and rear 2K 1440p 5 megapixel Sony Starvis IMX335 sensor. They both use the exact same parts. So we've already started out great, and they're both using good parts, great parts. Viewing angle. The VIOFO A229 uses, their front camera has a 140 degree wide viewing angle. The rear has a 160 degree wide viewing angle, which gives you a total of 300 degrees of viewing angles. The IROAD X11 is a little bit different. They use a 155 degree wide viewing angle out the front and 155 degree out the rear. High dynamic range. IROAD X11 uses high dynamic range. It always supports clear video with application of front and rear HDR. Real HDR is installed to remove light blurring when driving at night, and it shows clear recording quality in various lighting conditions such as backlight and tunnels. We also have VIOFO does not use HDR, but it is using WDR, which is wide dynamic range. It processes images to ensure clear recordings in bright and dark light. This allows the dash camera to combine multiple images at different levels of brightness to create one superior image. I will say, from all my testing, I would say the VIOFO is coming very close to keeping up with the IROAD X11. It doesn't have, obviously, HDR, but I'm going to show you some of the little videos here, just showing you coming out of a tunnel and how these two react. IROAD X11, and as you can see, it comes out of the tunnel nice and clean. This 229, nice and clear as well. So let's slow it down for you to show you what we were seeing. So now we're going to show you what the IROAD X11 looked like coming out of the tunnel. So you can see how clear it is, and it adjusts the light very quickly. And then VIOFO A229. Like I said, just take a look and see it how quickly it is. The whole point of high dynamic range, like we already said here, is to remove light blurring when driving, and we want it to show clear recording quality in various lighting conditions such as backlight and tunnels. Parking mode. The VIOFO A229 has 3 different parking modes. So they have auto event detection, which automatically records when detecting moving objects or impact while car is parked. It also has time lapse. This video is recorded at low frames per second, from 1, 2, 3, 5, or 10 frames per second. It also has low bitrate recording. You can lower the resolution to save space while recording. I don't recommend this, but at the same time, the choice is yours. You can also change this through the LCD screen or the Wi-Fi app for these settings. The IROAD X11 is a little bit different. So it records in parking mode in time-lapse mode, which means it records at 1 frame per second. And the whole point of that is it's using 1/30th of the information that you normally would. So normal recording is 30 frames per second. This is going to record at 1 frame per second. The reason why is because you're going to get 30 times the amount of video footage that you can record while parked. And the other big thing is you can turn motion detection on or off in conjunction with the time-lapse mode. I recommend having the motion detection turned on. The reason why is because If it detects motion while parking mode is on, it will then record it at 10 frames per second, so 1/3 of a normal video recording, and it takes that video and puts it into a separate event folder. It doesn't put all your time-lapse recordings into the event folder. It only puts it in if there's motion or impact detected. You can change these settings through the Wi-Fi app. Parking mode cable / low battery protection. So with the VIOFO, it is a standard cable that actually uses power ground ignition, and it has a selector switch, which on the cable determines your low battery protection. So you can select between 11.8, 12, 12.2, and 12.4 volts. Now, positive of this is it does have low battery protection. The negative of this is typically that part that allows you to select voltage gets hidden underneath the dash. Now, with the IROAD, it is the same thing. It's power ground ignition, and you can select the low battery protection, however, digitally through the Wi-Fi app. Now, an extra added benefit of parking mode cables is IROAD also offers for the do-it-yourselfers or some of those, complex vehicles, an OBD2 cable that will also plug right directly into the top of the unit with no wire splicing at all needing to be done to the vehicle. Wi-Fi settings. The VIOFO actually has capability of being set for 2 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz. Why would this matter? Well, with the 5 gigahertz setting, you can download videos 3 to 4 times faster than the 2 gigahertz setting. The IROAD X11 only has 2 gigahertz. So let's say you're downloading a video and it takes you approximately a minute on the IROAD X11. On the VIOFO, it's going to take you probably somewhere on an average of about 20 seconds for the same 1 minute length video. Now, in terms of the actual Wi-Fi app, both products have iOS and Android supported apps so that you can connect to them via Wi-Fi. The IROAD app has one extra added benefit. And what that extra benefit is that basically it will show GPS data. So if you're driving 100 kilometers down the highway and you're looking at that video, it will actually show you moving down on the map while you're viewing it on your mobile phone. SD card capacity. The VIOFO A229 supports up to a 256 gigabyte SD card. The IROAD X11 will support up to a 512 gigabyte SD card, which will allow for an insane amount of video recording. Now, let's compare these two. So on the IROAD, if you use a 64 gigabyte SD card, you will get approximately 6 hours of continuous record time with a 64 gigabyte SD card. Now, if we take that VIOFO unit and we put a 64 gigabyte SD card in that one as well, you're only going to get approximately 3 hours of continuous record time. Now, why is this? Why would you get less record time with the same SD card? And both cameras are 2K front and 2K rear. Kind of confusing, right? Well, the IROAD system is using a newer video codec called H.265, which gives you approximately twice the recording capacity, while the VIOFO is still using MP4. Now, there's some positives and negatives to this. The positive is the IROAD is going to give you way more recording time, twice the amount of recording time than the VIOFO, with an equally sized SD card going against both. Okay. The negative is if you wanted to view it on a desktop computer, like just take the SD card out and plug it into your computer, the IROAD, you're going to need to use the desktop software, which, they do have a Mac and they do have a PC software. So that's not an issue. The benefit of a VIOFO is because it's still using MP4 is you can take the SD card out and with any adapter, plug it into your computer and watch it instantly without any desktop software needed. So positives and negatives to both. Either way, choice is yours. GPS antenna. So for the VIOFO, the GPS antenna is actually built into the dock that the actual camera slides into. Okay, it'll provide speed and location data of where the video was recorded. The IROAD will do speed and location as well. However, it will be with a little external GPS antenna. Kind of give you an idea with my finger, pretty small. Typically gets hidden up top of the windshield, but it is an external instead of being built in. You can also select to turn off GPS speed for the IROAD and VIOFO, just in case, maybe you have a heavy foot. Video length recording. The VIOFO has flexible options of 1, 2, 3, 5, or 10-minute video recording sizes. The IROAD gives you 1-minute video recordings, and if an impact or event is detected while driving, it will do a 20-second video recording. File list organization. VIOFO has all files, locked files, and parking recording files. And all you simply do is click on one of these videos, and in the top right corner, there's a little download button. Hit that, and boom, downloaded directly to your phone. IROAD has normal, impact, and manual. So if you find the video that you want, you can go in and download it quite easily. However, if you do want to change and download the rear footage, what you have to do is in the top right corner, you'll see the little logo, and you hit it, it'll change to the rear camera, and then you can download that separately. LCD screen. The VIOFO has a 2.4-inch LCD screen, which allows you to go through the menu of the dashcam and change settings. So if you're not tech savvy, this would be a good choice for you. IROAD, you can only change the settings through the Wi-Fi mobile app and has no LCD screen at all. Voice recording. Both units have the capability of turning voice recording on or off. However, with the IROAD X11, I always recommend leaving voice recording on because you never know what's going to happen while you're driving. Now, some people might think, well, I don't want it to record my voice. Well, the beautiful thing about IROAD is when you download a video, you can actually choose whether you want audio or not. So let's say somebody comes up to you in downtown Vancouver, starts yelling at you on the street, I don't know, hitting your hood, something weird like that happens. You can choose to now download with audio because now it'll have that person yelling at you. If you have audio turned off, you don't have any of that audio. At the same time, let's say the best of you, gets and you start saying stuff you shouldn't say, you kind of regret. You can also download it without that audio, and you have that option with the IROAD X11, while most other dash cameras on the market, you do not. Size of the dash cameras. Well, let's take a look. Put them side by side. You can see the VIOFO is a little bit smaller. If we turn them sideways, pretty close to the same thickness. And typically, they're going to be mounted like this on the windshield. So as you can see, if you are mounting it like this, the VIOFO is going to hang a little bit lower down, and it all comes down to how they end up being mounted. Either way, they're really not that big. Additional accessories. VIOFO, you have the option of a polarized lens, which basically can be used to reduce reflections and glare off glass and road surfaces, bringing significantly improved clarity and contrast. So literally, it's just this little circular device, and it just clips on very easily. And just like that, you have a polarized lens. Now, when we look at the IROAD X11 here, the IROAD X11, you can actually get the multi-cover. And you might be thinking, like, what is that? Well, simply, it just clips on. I know I'm going to look like I'm clumsy here. Just clips on, And then there's a top, and as you can see here, you can actually hook up all the wires inside here, slip this cover on, and just like that, all the wires can come out the top or the sides, and it'll actually look a lot cleaner. So on a lot of like Porsches, Mercedes, those type of vehicles, I actually mount this right up at the top at the headliner off to the passenger side. So literally you might see like little wires peek out. It's one of the cleanest ways to actually get it installed. But either way, it is an additional add-on if you do want to have your wires a little bit more hidden. It also will allow you to lock your SD card in place if that is something you're also worried about. Hopefully you enjoyed our video of the IROAD X11 versus the VIOFO A229. If you do have any questions at all, feel free to leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot. Cheers.